Welcome back to CryptosRus. I am George. We're all George. So tonight, let's talk about what may propel Bitcoin to hit $200,000 within this next cycle. Who would not welcome that? Well, let's discuss. So welcome, guys. Hopefully you guys are doing okay. Bitcoin is still stuck right here, 28,000, but there's many reasons why it may break out, right? So the first one, if you look at the U.S. market, today was red for tech. That was up slightly. Tomorrow, again, red. Why is that? Well, remember yesterday, Jamie Dimon and JP Morgan warned people that the U.S. banking turmoil is not over, that we're going to see very long repercussions, right? Even though the Fed and FDIC has been bailing banks out. Well, guess what? Today, another bank, Western Alliance Bancorp, reported that their deposits had fallen 11%, okay? And this is alarming because they went from 53.6 billion down to 47.6 billion, okay? That's in a matter of a month. So that means people are pulling their money out. That is the worst thing for a bank. Without liquidity, that means there's no money, no loans, right? So it's starting to happen despite our government trying to reassure that banks are safe. Don't worry about banks. There's a lot of people out there that do not trust them, right? And are pulling money out. And here's something else too. Look at this. Look at this. That's a rapid decline, okay, of deposits within banks. Actually, that's pretty alarming. That's not a rapid, that's alarming decline of deposits in commercial banks. Okay, that's pretty bad. And because of it, commercial banks have been borrowing from the Fed once again. $500 billion borrowed from the Fed within one freaking week. 1 week. This chart goes back, this is a yearly chart that goes back to 2006. You're not supposed to see a parabolic jump like that, okay? Because the borrowing should be slow, incremental, not $500 billion being borrowed within one single week. So, although I am not a fan of Jamie Dimon, I think he's right. And so many others that have called for the destruction of banks, you know, they may be right. The banks are worried right now. They're very, very worried. They do not want more bank runs or collapse to happen, because when it happens to one, it happens to it hurts everyone, right? So this is one major reason why Bitcoin is gaining strength, because all that money being pulled out, well, maybe just a little bit of that is going to Bitcoin. Because Bitcoin is no bank. Bitcoin actually makes holders like us. We're all our own banks, right? And we don't have to worry about the Fed and lending and borrowing and all that stuff, all the shenanigans, inflation, everything that I've been talking about, right? When you have Bitcoin, you don't have to worry about those things, right? And that is why the exchange flow turned negative. The number of Bitcoin going into exchanges have turned negative once again. Okay, whenever you have negative flow, that obviously means that not a whole lot of people are selling. I don't know who would be selling Bitcoin right now. This would be the absolute worst time to be selling Bitcoin. But, you know, some people want to trade it or counter trade the market, or they think they can outsmart the market. Well, you know what? Let them do that. For the rest of us, we continue to DCA and HODL, and that is the right course of action. So this is another look at the exchange flow turning negative. And the liquid supply illiquid, meaning the supply of Bitcoin that's not out on exchanges being traded, well, that hits 78%. Think about it. Nearly 80% of all Bitcoin are out of circulation. They're not for trade, right? Held either by long-term holders, or their Bitcoin lost forever. Almost 80%. Bitcoin is very, very scarce and only going to get more scarce as we move forward. But what about this 200,000 mark, right? What's that about, right? Well, I just said Bitcoin is very scarce. It's still growing, and I'm going to show more reasons for that. There's a lot of distrust in banks right now, obviously, right? But also, if you're looking at charts, you look at Bitcoin's trajectory from previous cycles, right? Of course, there's a lot of metrics like this. This is from Phil B on Twitter. Well, according to his kind of like logarithmic curve, right, where Bitcoin will end up, well, somewhere around $200,000. And that's conservative. Many, like Kathy Wood, thinks Bitcoin is going to be at $1 million. Michael Saylor says 1 million plus. Tim Draper also said 250,000. Mike Novogratz said 200,000. And then you have others that think Bitcoin is going to go much higher. Probably not this cycle, but maybe the next cycle, the cycle after that, right? It's going to happen. It's going to happen. And even John Bollinger, the creator of Bollinger Bands, warned, brace for a squeeze, right? A squeeze is about to happen, probably to the upside, right? But prepare for that. Something is going to happen right around the corner. Waiting, looking forward to that. I mean, Bitcoin has been stuck under 28, around 28 for quite some time, right? Ready to break out. It took us a long time to break above 24.2. Like, look at it. It took a long time, right? It took this long, even though we broke below, right? It took this long to break through 24,000, right? Maybe we have to wait just as long to break 28,000, but we've been pressing up against this resistance for quite some time with very low volatility. That shows that there is a lot of strength right now, especially with distrust in banks, and people are getting ready to move it higher. And also, I saw this. A lot of people are looking for utility on top of Bitcoin. We know we have stacks. We also have ordinals, which are NFTs, but now there's another side chain called MintLayer, and they have a $4 million grant initiative to bring dApp makers to build on top of Bitcoin. DeFi, utilizing smart contracts, right? Swaps, NFTs, dApps in general, right? Bitcoin could get wild in the future. A lot more utility coming. Not every Bitcoin maxi wants to see this happen, but regardless, it's happening. More utility besides store value, besides medium exchange, besides hedging against inflation. Could be a smart contracts platform too for the future. So these are all fantastic things that are happening right now. That is why we are in Bitcoin. We need to be patient, be vigilant, and continue to hodl because better days are coming. Now, it's not just Bitcoin, of course. You guys know that overall crypto market cap has been coming up, right? This morning, we were a little bit higher at 1.2 trillion. We're not too bad right now, 1.19 trillion, okay? That's a large number, and we're only getting bigger. But there's a couple of projects today I want to talk about. Number one is Injective Protocol. They have been on an absolute tear. Wondering why? Well, there's several reasons why. Injective is one of the biggest dApps within Cosmos. Okay, they are basically like a DeFi ecosystem. They basically want to create DeFi financial dApps within Cosmos. Okay, so Pantera Capital, Jump Crypto, pumped in $150 million recently. Okay, this is not today, but recently, right? So obviously they got a lot of funding, but also what they're doing is not only expanding within Cosmos, but also expanding Solana. Try to bring in Solana dApps. Okay, so this will be the very first ever Solana rollup for Cosmos. So people that want to utilize Solana and have interoperability with Cosmos, well, they can use this. Okay, I haven't heard. I keep hearing about ERC20, EVM bridges. I haven't ever heard of a Solana bridge, but that's exactly what this is. So this came out a few days ago. Also, what they introduced is liquid staking. A lot of you guys know about staking. Liquid staking allows you to stake, but also get a synthetic token that you can use for other purposes like DeFi, so forth, right? So they also introduced liquid staking with Stride, right? And they have this new launch for institutional markets. Basically, Injective Protocol is trying to grow out the Cosmos ecosystem as much as they can with their financial / DeFi dApps, and fantastic. And another reason why I'm bullish on Cosmos, because I think there are a lot of fantastic projects. Recently, I've been pitched and I've been viewing a lot of projects. They're all building within Cosmos. There's a ton of things building within Cosmos right now. It's actually a very, very exciting chain to be in, okay? And also to wrap up and Injective Protocol, someone posted all this stuff about things that are happening. Also, they do a lot of burning too. To this day, 5.5 million Injective have been burned, which accounts for 7% of the circulating supply. Interesting. They are deflationary. So all of these things have made Injective Protocol go upwards. Another one that's been going upwards, part of AI, is Singularity.net. Singularity got really pumped up earlier this year because of ChatGPT. They kind of slowed down a little bit, now back up. They will be attending AI for Good, a global summit to highlight their latest innovation in robotics and AI R&D. Interesting. I don't know what they've been dealing or what they've been doing with the Sophia, the robot that they had for a few years now, but I'm sure they've upgraded it for something. And also, in case you're not aware, Singularity.net is an AI marketplace, right? But they also introduced a formal meta language for probabilistic programming to allow the Singularity team to not only learn relevant knowledge, but appropriate ways of reasoning. That sounds like it's one step closer to Skynet. That's what it sounds like. Robots will be able to think with logic. I don't know. The logical choice would be to kill off the humans then, right? I don't know, but they're doing also pretty well recently. And that is pretty much what I want to cover. Overall, Bitcoin still holding steady. The US market just not knowing what to do, right? Not knowing if Powell is going to be aggressive or not aggressive. Looks like he should be very dovish because jobs report yesterday, today has been horrible, right? And then you have still banking woes where deposits are being withdrawn left and right at an alarming pace. So, the market should be cheering for this kind of stuff. That means no more rate hike. But the problem is, did Powell overstep? Did he go too far? Will we be able to stop this? Because if we can't, then the U.S. economy is going to go into a deep, deep, deep recession, and you don't want that to happen, right? All right, so that's what I cover, and today's DCA day, so I gotta log in here. Let's see if I can log in. Today's Wednesday, right? Not Tuesday. I always get my Wednesdays and Tuesdays mixed up. Oh, look at this. This week is pretty darn good. All time, it's kind of slow right now. It's not showing anything. Come on. There we go. All time, I'm only down 25%. Last week it was like 30%, but for this week, about even. I don't think that's right. For a month, because I know last week was not at 25%. So, anyways, we're getting closer and closer to breaking even. And that's the point of DCA, right? We keep going, same amount every week. No trading, no guessing, no swapping, right? We are simply DCing into our favorite projects. It's really that simple, right? So pretty soon we'll break into the single digits. But in the meantime, what should I DCA into? I hope the Lakers are beating Clippers. Lakers have been doing really, really good. You know, last week I know I just DCA'd into Bitcoin. And I should just DCA into Bitcoin because when Bitcoin moves, it's really going to move. But I cover about Injective, which is within Cosmos, right? A little light in Cosmos. That's a tough choice. Tough choice. I think I'm just going to stick with the basics. I'm going to do 50% in Bitcoin and 50% in Cosmos. You know, because I think Cosmos is very underrated right now. And Bitcoin, you can never go wrong with Bitcoin. So that's what I'm going to do. So let's do $50 into... Okay, and then $50 into Cosmos. $1.38. All right. So we will see. We will see where we end up next week. This week, Cosmos and Bitcoin. All right, let's do some Q&A. All right. Let's see. I believe notification must be broken. YouTube has been really flaking with notifications. But it's okay. We are here. Kevin reminds us, Janet Yellen said everything is fine with the banks. Remember when she said we're not going to bail out any banks? And then the next day they bailed out SVB. Scarcity is key. Yes. Lakers beating Clippers. I answered that. Lakers are starting to really get it together. So that's pretty good. Did you see Apple has white paper hidden on Max? No. No. I did not see that. Why Cosmos or Polkadot? Cosmos is superior to Polkadot in every way. Polkadot is limited to how many parachains. Also, there's very limited cross-chain interoperability. And also, just there's not that many. Their TVL is kind of low, too. So I just like Cosmos way better. There's a lot more activity, a lot more dApps, a lot more interoperability happening within Cosmos. A lot of chains are built with the Cosmos SDK, so they have IBC enabled, which means they have inter-blockchain communication. So that's why I like it. Greetings from Maine. Welcome. Hope you got a garage figured out. That was messed up. Yeah, I'm going to talk more about that in my next video, which I already filmed, but I've been too lazy to edit. Australia just paused interest hikes. Do you think the Fed will do the same? I don't think in May there will be another hike. I think we're at where we're at, and that's it. I don't think we're going to go any higher. It's too risky. Many people, really question Powell for even raising the last rate hike. I thought, he would be 0, but he wanted to be a little hawkish and do a 25 basis point. But a lot of people think that that's just going to add more stress to the banks already. So I don't think he's going to go another one without pushing more banks to the brink of disaster. Do you think the government will inject stimulus in 2023? I don't think so. I don't think they're going to inject anything. I think, if anything, they may cut rates towards the end of this year, but I don't know. I don't think we're that bad yet. Norman, appreciate it. More bullish on Solana or Avalanche. After your recent trip to LA, would you go back for fun? Not really, Steven. Too much traffic everywhere. Too many hilly roads everywhere. Very super expensive everywhere. I don't know. Unless you're specifically going to like the studios or Universal Studio or Disney. I mean, but those places are better in Florida because they're bigger. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to go back for vacation. Hi, Georgia. DGen 400K in a microcap. Wish me luck. Well, good luck. Good luck. That's like the same as putting 400K on a roulette table and seeing if you hit. You may. Or you may just lose it all. Found out if we use Robinhood Wallet to deposit into Robinhood, we don't pay fee other than gas fees, so this is much better than any other exchange. Except you're very, very limited. Very limited in your selection. Yeah. And of course, if you're transferring from Robinhood Wallet into exchange, of course you're just paying gas fee. That's how it is. You transfer from Coinbase Wallet to Coinbase, it's the same. You're just paying gas fees. Same thing on Trust Wallet into Binance, you're paying gas fees. So everyone is like that. Thoughts on BRICS working on gold-backed currency? I don't know if that's their true agenda. I just know that they want to get off the USD standard. That's what it seems like. So gold-backed currency is not going to work. We tried that before. Everyone got off of it. It's too limiting. Bitcoin-backed currency, that makes sense. But I think what they're trying to do is just get off the USD standard for now. Why does everyone hate Justin Sun? I mean, just look it up. Just look it up, man. He's screwed up every project he has ever bought. Done a lot of shady things behind the scenes. He was SBF before SBF, and somehow he just didn't get caught. He pre-announced, like, giving away Teslas, and even then, he gave away to, like, someone he knew. The Warren Buffett thing, that had controversy because China told him not to meet with Warren Buffett. He had to cancel, and he secretly did it, whether or not that even happened. I mean, there's just so much. Just Google everything about him. Crypto.com and Chronos. I mean, I think they're okay. I don't really like the chain that much or the dApps on top of it, but they exist and the exchange exists. And when the bull market comes back, they'll probably do well. Thoughts on Vulcan blockchain as auto rebasing is coming in a month or so. I'm not familiar with it, so I can't really talk about it. Don't know. The U.S. government of the gold standard got off the gold standard because they couldn't print as much money as they wanted to. Yeah, exactly. That's why it failed. That's why I said you can't have a gold standard again, because ultimately that's what's going to happen. If you look at ICV again, no, I am not. Let's just keep this up. 78% of circuit supply is liquid. Thoughts on Adam Black being Satoshi? I mean, he could. There's a lot of Kleeman. There's a few guys that's rumored to be Satoshi, or they're all Satoshi. They worked on it together. I don't know. I don't know what to think. And even if they are, it doesn't really mean anything. Satoshi is more like a symbol now, right? We're not looking for the actual person. It's this mythical being that started it all. That's all that matters. What happens if every currency is backed by BTC? Bitcoin will be at like 10 million each. That's what would happen. There's a lot of currencies out there. You add it up, it's tens of trillions, hundreds of trillions. I don't know how much money there is out there, right? But if they're all backed by Bitcoin, Bitcoin would have to be at an astronomical number, like 10 million each. No one will be able to afford any amount of Bitcoin other than small fractional sats. That's it. Just DCA BTC hit 1.1416, started last month. 18 other positions, all DCA'd well. Good for you. Good for you. Definitely feels good to DCA and watch things go up, right? It's painful when you DCA and watch it go down, but sometimes it just happens that way. The better way to think about it is, well, you're DCAing a little bit lower. You're bringing the cost average down, right? No one knows where top or bottom is. Best way is to just DCA over a long haul. That's it. Take the guessing out of it. But we are definitely going up. I've been showing you guys so many charts, so many metrics, so many things that indicate that Bitcoin is heading higher, about to start this next run. That's why you don't want to miss it. What do you think the bull market will start back up? Probably 2024, right after a halving event. That's when we'll have true bull market. Right now, technically, we are bull market because we're coming up from bottom, but I would say this is more like recovery stage. The bull run probably will happen after the halving event. So probably around May of 2024, about a year from now. Do I have any thoughts about Arbitrum? Not really. I mean, it's a fantastic L2 for Ethereum. Ethereum is having an upgrade in a couple weeks. A whole lot of people got airdrops. I mean, that's about it. By the way, I finally saw John Wick 4. It was fantastic. Keanu Reeves only had like 10 lines in the whole movie, which was still awkward, but the stair scene was amazing, but I feel like at some points it was just too much and too long. But overall, it's a very good movie. But I felt like there was just a little bit, at times it was just way too long. Would I go on the Fresh and Fit podcast? Sure. I don't think I fit that crowd. Okay, I don't fit that crowd of 20-year-old girls. But I could educate them on Bitcoin. If they want me on, I could talk about Bitcoin and why everyone, even young people, should believe in Bitcoin and should get into it. Or you go watch a new Super Mario movie, probably with my kids. It would be crazy if they can turn out like Marvel type, Avenger type movies, with cartoonish, characters. That would be absolutely nuts. But I think that's what they're trying to do. Nintendo is trying to utilize their category of games and come out with all these crazy movies. And if they succeed, it'll be wild, really wild. Yeah, they're probably gonna bring on Zelda after Mario, you know. I don't know how good the movie is, but if it's good, they just landed on a jackpot, a gold mine, and they're gonna come out with all these franchises, right? Zelda, what was it? They could do, I guess Smash Bros. Smash Bros would be like kind of like Avengers type movie if they did that. I mean, there's a lot. Star Fox, they could bring that back. All right, guys, let's call it a night. Overall, Bitcoin, 200,000 this cycle. Can it happen? Sure. Especially when you have more utility coming, when you got John Bollinger warning for a short squeeze, right? A big squeeze. And then you got charts like this and banks still selling off. Can it happen? Yes. Yes. Exchanges don't charge fees from wallets. No, they don't. All right, guys, smash the like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. All right, have a good one, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.